Hey guys, welcome to episode number 390. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday. And Gary, we're back at the pond.
Hello.
How's it going, my friend?
It's going very well.
All right, well, it's New England and the weather is cooling off once again. No Oscars in the pond this time, which is definitely a good thing. But we did have some spawning activity here earlier in the year, right?
We did. We got about 40 or so baby in there that we tried to catch some. We caught about 10 of the 40.
Okay.
10 of those 40, but now they're impossible to find. So.
Right. Let's take a look at them. Actually, they're right here in the bucket. So the plan is I'm going to take these home, put them in the 300-gallon stock tank, and try to raise them up over the winter so that they have a better chance of surviving the winter. Now all of these are like that olive green color. You've got some really big fish in the pond, which are very similar in color to these. So here they are. They're a little chubby. They don't look a ton like a koi yet, but I'm hoping if they get a little bit bigger, they'll start to show the telltale signs of being big fat koi. So we've got a few in the bucket here. As you can see, their coloration is very dark, and as you can see in the pond, as we learned the hard way in the pond, it is almost impossible to see those little baby fish against the cobbles and against the black rocks that are on the bottom of this pond. And it's a big pond. Like, it's impossible to get a net all the way across there. And it's really deep too. It's like 4.5 feet deep.
Yeah,
something like that.
4.5 feet deep.
Right in the center. So yeah, so you got your waders on. We managed to catch, close to a dozen, but and that was about it. There's a lot more fish in here. They're just going to have to weather the storm here through the winter,
right.
And hopefully they do okay. But yeah, I guess it's a good insurance policy, right? To have some indoors, keep some outdoors, and just see how they do. If the koi were a lighter color, or if the sunlight would cooperate with us here, or if the water was a little lower, it might be a little easier to catch these fish. But I don't know, you guys can tell us, like, do you see any baby fish in this in this video? It's like, it's 30 of them. I know, yeah. Do you see any? I challenge you, because this is what we've been doing for the last hour and a half. It's insanity. Yeah, so we got a few. That's good enough. Mission accomplished, right?
Right.
But you do have some nice big koi in here. You want to talk about a few of your favorites, if we can find them?
Yeah, if you can find them. Well,
yeah.
There's one right in front of you.
Right. So there's a couple really big butterflies, right?
Yeah, there's butterfly, and a few other, or some people call them leatherback, like this guy right here, where they have some really large scale and just some skins. Really shows off the color a little better. But as far as like, how do the baby fish get there? Yeah. So the spawning was really cool in the spring. If you have any plants or anything around the pond, and they'll wreak havoc and knock everything over, because what they do is the female will swim around and she wants to lay her eggs, so the males will chase her around and they'll kind of slam her up in the rocks and try to get the eggs forced out of her, right, as they take care of that. And there are some areas here where the cobbles are sort of moved away from the liner, right? Yeah, like, and that's just them kind of thrashing like around in there. Thrashing, like there's certain areas where they were really working the female around, and mainly by those plants over there. So a lot of the rocks been pushed right off of the liner. Right. And it looks very aggressive too. Sure. I mean, sometimes you get aware. I mean, she has some battle wounds from it. Right. But at the end of the day, you end up seeing baby fish from around. Yeah. Hope to give some away. So that's very cool. Yeah. So and like, you didn't have as much plant cover on this pond this year as you did in previous years, correct? Yeah, correct. I mean, I added them in the water hyacinth in a little later than I did last year, but I don't know if it was the heat, the drought, right, whatever was going on. It really didn't bloom like it did last year, which literally, if I left her alone, it would have smothered the whole pond. This year, I had pockets around. We took a lot out. But you know, and of course the koi pick at them too. They
Sure.
tear the roots up. I got bigger koi.
Sure, you got bigger koi, so they're doing more
snacking on 'em.
more snacking on the plants.
On the
And
roots,
and
yeah.
I mean, the more plants you have, the more plant cover, you know, the safer the fish will feel, and they might, you know, be more into you know, breeding. But I mean, as you saw here, I mean, it didn't deter them, did it?
No, it did not.
No. So we got some baby koi, some baby fish. Some are gonna overwinter here in the pond. We've got an air stone in the pond, so even when it gets cold out, there'll be a hole in the center.
Right.
The pump will turn off, the waterfall will turn off, and we'll get a little bit of ice on this pond, but because it's deep enough here in New England, it doesn't freeze completely. All the fish just sort of settle to the bottom. And you're feeding your fish a like
Spring diet.
a what?
A spring fall diet.
Spring fall diet. So
Yeah.
that's
Easier to digest.
okay. So that it sort of flushes them out, cleans them out,
keeps them cleaned
and
out,
prepares them for the winter.
so they don't get too bloated. And so they'll start. Right now the water's 47. We just checked it. It's 47 degrees.
Yeah.
So they're at the point where they're not eating aggressively. They're eating a lot less.
Right.
So once they, I'm guessing in a couple of weeks they'll just completely stop eating. I'll throw the food in there. They won't go after it, so then I'll stop feeding them.
Right.
And again, if we have a warm spell and the temperature goes up, they'll probably come up and start eating. So I got to keep an eye on the weather and the temperature of the water. So yeah, so they're getting close to going into hibernation mode. I see that they'll probably be active for, it depends how October goes.
Yeah.
Another 3 weeks.
They'll just slow down. They'll stop eating. They'll
And
sort of
just hang out
in the
deep
middle.
end.
Yep.
And then you know, and then that'll be it.
And then you just wait a few months before you can enjoy them one more time.
That's when the filter goes off too. So when they're not producing waste anymore,
Right.
the filter will go off. I'll empty out the container over there. We could have another session when I do it too, if you'd like.
Yeah,
Come
sure.
Over, I'll go through the whole winterization process,
Definitely.
and then that's it. That's all I have to do.
There you go.
And then I just hang out until through the winter, and springtime will open up.
Well, that is really cool. I'm always happy to see this pond thriving. You've got a lot of really big fish in there, and it's really cool that these fish are able to spawn all on their own here in the pond. So a little bit of nature going on.
Oh yeah.
All right, Gary. Well, thank you for the time.
No problem.
Thank
My
you for
pleasure.
the fish.
All right.
I'll keep very good care of them over the winter, and
Awesome.
we'll see you again in the spring.
All right. See you in the spring.